get to our first guest, Indiana Congresswoman Jackie Walorski. Congresswoman, nice to see you. Following the constitutional overturning of Roe v. Wade, Biden is supporting an end to the filibuster to protect the slaughter of children in the womb. As a woman, how would you characterize the efforts by Biden and his Democrats to add to the 66 million dead babies that have already succumbed to Roe v. Wade?
Chris, thanks. I'm telling you, this is just nothing more than disgrace. Doesn't surprise me for 1 minute. These leftist Democrats will do anything to protect the right to kill babies. This insatiable desire for blood to kill. They will come after any obstacle that we try to put in front of them to make sure and just do what they did in New York, stand there and cheer. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace in this country. And I'm so glad the Supreme Court ruled how it did. And the fight is going to continue in the states. This isn't over. You know, I've been a pro-life leader for a long time, and I'm not done fighting until we see the end of this.
Amen. The Supreme Court's been busy doing other things. The left is having another meltdown over the Supreme Court limiting the EPA's regulation of power plant emissions, a major blow to the Democrats' man-made global warming religion. How much of a victory is this in the fight against government's anti-prosperity overreach?
Well, I hope Americans tonight are reeling and realizing what this really means, that the EPA took power it never had. During the Obama administration, it went way over into the abuse of power. It basically says that if you're a governor in a state and you have a certain type of energy, nobody can tell you it's illegal. Indiana and my state, we're sitting on hundreds of years of coal and coal mines. So I think it's one of the biggest victories that we've seen that will directly deal with this economy, the energy we produce in our country, and finally moving off the green bill and the green plan and Biden's crazy quote-unquote transition to electric vehicles. I call it common sense. You know, when you're in the Midwest and you're talking to your district, this is common sense. They'll tell you we got off the road somewhere and went crazy left, trying to bring it now back into making sure we have a prosperous, positive economy, and that's how you do it with these kind of rulings.
Nothing wrong with an all-of-the-above approach to make sure that our quality of life and our research into future alternative energy is well-financed. SCOTUS also releasing a controversial opinion today on the Trump-era border policy known as Remain in Mexico. The High Court ruled that Mr. Biden can get rid of that policy and that he didn't break the law. But Congresswoman, I remember when Barack Hussein Obama created the DACA program using his executive authority, the court said that President Trump could not stop DACA using that same executive authority. Yet now, Mr. Biden wants to end a Trump policy, and the court says, oh, that's okay. Has the Supreme Court codified unequal treatment under the law, treating Democrats better than Republicans with this ruling?
Well, let me just say, this is a disastrous ruling, right? I mean, what we have happening down with, you know, people trying to get across the border because Joe Biden opened our border. Joe Biden is the one that said, come one, come all, no restrictions whatsoever. And now we see what's happening with these cartels. 52 people dead in a semi. More reports today of additional people they're finding inside of cars. This is inhumane. It's sick. It's disgusting, and Joe Biden owns this horrific, horrible decision. I would call on the president right now, stop what you are doing and work for the humanity of the population on both sides here. Work for America to make sure that that border is sealed and closed, and we take care of the people inside of our country, and we stop the inhumane treatment, allowing innocent people to die trying to come on Biden's idea of just come across that river. Come in those semis. Take your chances and see if you can actually live to do it. That's sick. That is inhumane. That is who this president is.
It is. And you know what? And very few, with the exception of maybe Henry Cuellar in the Democrat Party, have criticized that policy. And by the way, your state knows firsthand the dangers of Mr. Biden's open border policies. You're seeing record high fentanyl deaths in your state. So you've introduced legislation to seek justice for illicit fentanyl victims. Will this legislation hold politicians like Mr. Biden accountable? And if not, what will it do?
Well, here's the thing. I am so fed up, Chris, with this administration doing nothing and causing the deaths of numerous young people in my district in Indiana. We are a border state because of the poisonous fentanyl that's coming into our community, and these kids are accidentally ODing around the country, and it's not just my world. If he's not going to do something about helping these families restore justice, I am. My bill says, as an individual or a state attorney general, you can file a suit in federal court against China and Mexico and these other countries that are producing this poisonous fentanyl, sending it into our country, and bring justice to the families of these victims. If he's not going to do it, I am. Too many deaths in my district to justify what's happening across the board. And we see every day in the news, on Newsmax, where these guys are bringing in fentanyl, and a tiny, tiny little bit will kill an American, if not 100,000 to the whole country, because we have an open border bringing in toxic poison, and our people are dying.
Oh, yeah, you saw what happened out in California. They had a home, it would have killed millions. The people that brought that fentanyl in, they were released out in the People's Republic of California. It's absolutely disgusting. Congresswoman Walorski, thank you very much. Appreciate your time and your forthright talk.